So, so Bob, thank you for sharing this time with us.
Delighted to do it.
Could you share with us a little bit of what experiences, what moment in your life was the happiest as far as business life?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a happiest moment in business life. To me, I think everything is a stepping stone to do something else. You know, if you're successful, probably you're successful because you have a great sense of curiosity, because you have a sense of just this desire to build. I remember when I was at MTV, which no basic cable network had ever been profitable. There was a debate as to whether anyone could be profitable, and MTV was the first profitable. And when we were profitable, I went to Steve Ross, who was the CEO of Warner Communications, which was one of our parent companies. And I told Steve, guess what, Steve? You're profitable this month. And instead of saying congratulations, he said, good, now here's what we can do. And I think that's really the approach of entrepreneurs, is not, I've reached it, I'm happy, I'm delighted. We're really driven. Some people might say it's an addiction, it's a sickness. To me, it's fun, it's an adrenaline rush, it's a chess game that we're always playing and the game never ends.
Right, so getting there is part of the fun.
No, I think you're never there. There is no there. It's a process. It's a process of constant building, constant risk-taking, constant curiosity as to what's next.
How did MTV come about?
Well, I was, MTV, we launched August 1, 1981, 30 years ago. And I had come out of radio. The cable industry in the United States was just being built out. There were only about 18 million homes versus probably 80, 90 million homes today between satellite and cable. And the cable industry was building into the big cities. So the cable industry started by retransmitting big city stations to little rural areas that had no TV. Now they realized they needed some real networks. So there was a demand to do it. There was a moment in time in which Warner Communications, which is now Time Warner, sold half of their cable company to American Express. And part of it was they set up a programming company to go build these networks, and I was hired as the head of programming. We did a movie service first, which competed with HBO and Showtime, later merged with Showtime. And we were ready to launch another service. And one of the ideas that was not just being kicked around was, you know, there should be a music service. People saying, there should be a news service, a sports service, an everything service. And I had I'd been a radio programmer. I had programmed in New York City, WNBC in New York. The time I left, it was the #2 radio station in America. Right after I left, it became #1. And I'd had a TV show on NBC in the late 70s called Album Tracks that I hosted and produced that had video clips. So my pitch was, let's do a video radio station. Let's do to FM what FM did to AM. And that was the simplistic view of what MTV was. Now, it was very hard to get it approved. The board of directors didn't want to say yes. We actually had to go to the CEO of Warner and the CEO of American Express and get them in a room with a couple other people to get them to say yes, we'll put up the money.
Now, getting a little bit into the personal side of business, you start your business and you thrive for success. And how do you start, campaigning with the family, with all your personal life?
The reality is, it's a sacrifice. I'm not sure I would argue to people that are entrepreneurs that you're going to have a great balance of life. I think it's one of the things that you have a family that supports you. It's almost like having a military family. They support you in your mission. They love seeing what's going on. They love being a part of it. But, I argue when people say, I want to do this and that, I say, look, think very hard, because it requires a lot of sacrifices. And I'm not arguing you should make those sacrifices. I've made them. I've taken the last 7 or 8 years off and sort of doing it again. But sometimes you need a breather. Sometimes you don't want to do it because your family life is too fragile and they can't accommodate you. But I think it's a special breed that does it. It's a special family that can sort of rally around and say, this is great, let's do it.
What about the time management and the discipline to decide, you've got all these voices and everybody's telling you what to do. How do you, what would you say is like the core feeling to go forward towards a proper decision?
This is going to sound weird. I actually don't think you listen to a lot of people. I think great ideas start with a real, crystal clear vision of what you're doing. And you have a prism. We're trying to be this. This is my prism. Every decision that comes up, you put that prism against it, and it tells you yes or no. And I think if you spend your time trying to listen to everybody else's point of view, you'll be one, confused, and two, you'll have no time. I think sort of this other element that's a part of it is if you want to succeed, urgency matters. You must move quicker, faster, more deliberately than your competitors. You can't take a week to think about it. You can't study and review. You really do just have to make a decision and go. Make a decision as soon as you have enough information to make a decision, not when you have all the information. Well, you'll never have all the information. And I think, those are sort of the basic tenets. I've never seen people succeed without that kind of clear focus.
Very good. If you had a room of 600 entrepreneurs and you only had 2 or 3 minutes to give them your top recommendation for them to be successful, if you had just one key point, what would it be?
Well, I think the key point is focus, focus, focus. I think almost every company loses it because they say, gosh, because I can, I should. And you shouldn't. You should do exactly what you set out to do. You should put blinders on. You should forget about everything on the sidelines. When you reach a certain point, then you say, okay, now it's time to grow. But until you hit that success moment and you've taken every bit of success you can out of that very narrow idea, you shouldn't think about the other stuff. Google was a search engine for a long time.